This video is a way to change up your twisting in your yoga practice and to create some variety of movement in your body. Okay, so let's start with a warm-up. You might want a blanket because we'll be on our knees a bit for the first part and you may require some padding. So from here, we'll start in some nice cat-cow warm-up, and we'll begin with very gentle twists here. So as you inhale, you want to arch the spine, but don't let the belly just drop. Allow yourself to actually press into the floor, so you activate some muscular action. So you press with your shins and your feet and your hands, and then as you exhale, you push away, and you let the belly draw in, but mostly up. So when you do the exhale, think a lot more about the muscles at the base of the pelvis, like the pelvic floor area, lifting up rather than just sucking your belly in, because that's not terribly skillful. All right, so let's open up with some basic twisting. I'm going to twist towards the right so I can see you. Notice I don't take my arm and lock it out and just wing it around. I'm lifting up. You could lift up from your elbow, but if you actually lift up from the shoulder, like so, the shoulder blade lifts back, and then the elbow. Same idea. The arm stays straight as the shoulder lifts, but then it bends. So just doing this a couple of times. And I'd like to invite, if you've been practicing yoga for a while and you're kind of stuck in that way of cueing, if your teachers and you are kind of stuck in that cueing where your hips stay pretty much squared even while you twist your body around your hips, which is also twisting your body around your sacrum. Today's practice is going to be a little different. I'm going to invite you to turn your twist into a spiral. So you're going to embody rotini. That's what you're going to do. So next time you twist to the left, let's take the right leg back and now open the twist to the right. This time I might extend the arm out after it reaches its zenith as a bent arm. Come back to all fours and then extend the left leg and open to the left. And I'm letting the hips move with me as much as they want to. And I'm creating a nice inhale at the top and then exhaling as I transition. Inhaling. Feel free to take some creative license with the movement. Next time we go to the left, we'll finish the sequence. And then we'll come to a symmetrical position. So we'll do left leg first, because left leg tends to always be second. So we want to give a little bit of press. We're going to find deer pose here. You don't have to have your leg on a blanket, and in fact, I'm going to move this because it's rather uncomfortable. So from this position, you may or may not be able to get your shin parallel with the front of your mat. It's totally fine if you have to pull your heel in. Remember, this isn't pigeon, this is deer pose. So when your left leg is in front, most of your weight is on your left hip or your left butt. And we'll just go as far as we can. So this is where blocks or a bolster or something might assist you. And I'm just moving side to side, and I'm letting the weight shift from, let's say, the left upper leg to the left inner leg, but I'm not keeping my hips in place. They're moving a little bit. So you may or may not notice that this right hip, the back hip moves back, and then it goes forward. And then from this position, take your hand or a block, or if you're a little bit longer in the upper extremities, you can take your forearm. And we'll press the foot into the forearm, hand, or block, and then relax. So we'll inhale, and then exhale, press the foot into the object, inhale, relax. And I do want to emphasize that you're pressing the foot into the object. Try not to press the object as much into the foot. Think of it like an 80-20, 80% foot, 20% object. And as you do this, Ideally, you're feeling muscles contract on the outer left leg and glute. So you're contracting and releasing, and maybe over time feeling less of a stretch. So you're going for feeling less of a stretch as time goes on. And then from here, you're going to press the back shin into the floor, the front shin into the floor. And this is very important. If you can do a few cat-cows here and feel pretty steady, like your hands are there but they're not fully supporting you, you can use the exhale to cat pose and start to lift up your wings. And now that whole outer left leg has to press into the floor, and the inner back leg or right leg has to press into the floor, else you'll topple over. And that may not be available to you right now, so no worries. Inhale, come down. Exhale, lift up through the belly. You can come up really high or not at all, or anywhere in between. We'll do this 2 more times. As you exhale and you lift the belly, basically we're just contracting the very muscles that maybe we're trying to relax. So from there, that little cramp here, we'll just come to a symmetrical position. We don't have to take a deep pause in a huge forward bend. Just kind of sit and breathe. There's my little water bottle here, or my big water jug. Move the feet around. Feel the difference from left to right. You know, what's activated, what's got more blood flow, what's got less blood flow, what feels hotter, colder. I'll twist to the other side. So, you can turn around if you need to. Otherwise, it's just easier to flip it on over. So you may or may not immediately feel when you go to your right side that there's less or more sensation along the outer right leg and glute. For me, I feel more, which is unusual. Usually it's the other way around. So we'll just kind of take a little position here as we move around. You're doing basically your left or back hip is going forward and backward. Most of your weight, in fact, the vast majority of it is going to be on your right outer hip or your right butt. And then find your object. It could be you. Press it into the bottom of your right foot. On an inhale, relax, let the head hang. And then as you exhale, 80% foot presses into object, 20% object presses into foot. Inhale, relax. I'm going to do this a few times. Feel free to prop yourself up on your forearms or your blocks or a pillow or a couch or chair that might be in front of you. And as you press the right foot into the object, you're just trying to find some contraction. You want to feel like your right outer leg glute is strengthening a little bit. A couple more times. Good. And then from here, you can take your hands wide. It might be wise, based on many factors, that you stay low and don't try to lift. Otherwise, cat-cow 3 times. On the third cat position, where you lift from the low belly and you pull the ribs up and back, you may decide you want to lift up your right and or left hand, or vice versa. And then you come down, exhale, maybe you come up a little higher. How high you go is really very optional. You could stay low. And then from there, we'll come to our wide-legged position again. If you want to take little bobs forward. So this is an example of me taking the flexibility / mobility that I'm looking to maintain slowly, because I could put my chest flat on the floor easily right now. But I'm going to hold back because A, chest on the floor doesn't really get me any bonus points in life, and it's not like it's very functional. And B, because I want to maintain a healthy body and structure, and so maybe that's something I do later, or maybe not. All right, so from here, we'll gather our legs together. This is where the blanket padding may come in handy. So we'll take the left knee down and the right leg in front this time. The left hand is your support structure, whether it's propped up on a book or a can of minestrone or an actual yoga block is up to you. I'm actually going to put this down a little bit, it's a little wobbly. I'm going to allow my body to turn like a spiral. So you might take a very open twist here to the right. Your left shoulder ideally is not hanging out in your earlobe. You're pushing away from the block and maintaining a little buoyancy in the elbow joint. All right, so it's not totally locked out unless you need it to be for some reason. We're just going to maintain a little buoyancy. Watch my back shin. It's going to move, and you'll notice that my front leg externally rotates, the toes and knees point out, and then I'm going to come back, and then I reach back for my left calf or shin or whatever I can grab. I don't even have to grab anything at all. And then inhale, everything's pivoting, and then I reach back. The front leg can do whatever it wants. It does not have to copy me. The idea is that you're moving a lot of body parts in a small motion rather than one or two body parts really big. And then the next time you open up, you may feel compelled to curl your back toe under. And in a twist, you often hear that you should retract both shoulder blades and have an open chest, and yet you're trying to twist your chest a particular direction. So here, let's draw the left shoulder blade down the back towards your waistline, but then allow the left arm bone to pull forward a little bit. This is where the buoyancy in your arm is going to come in handy. Now your body really is a nice little spiral. You can reach back, and if you choose, draw the belly in a little bit to protect your left hip and lift the back knee. Entirely up to you. What you don't want to be is fully extended in the left hip and then go to straighten the leg. You want to pull back a little bit and come up. We're going to do this 1 or 2 times. This arm, if it gets tired, that right arm, you can always take it behind the back in a floating bind, meaning your hand doesn't actually touch your back. You do it all with strength, and you'll see better on the other side. Good. And from here, you can get a nice stretch or two in, and we'll switch legs simply by coming to an upright kneel and then sort of zipping up from the front low spine all the way up through the lower ribs. I'll try to pull that front leg back without too much drama. It might be a lot, who knows. So then the left leg will go next. The right hand is now the anchor. You'll get a better sense of what the back of my body is doing. So first we'll take a more traditional twist where basically we're doing a lot of rotation in the middle of the spine, like low mid-thoracic. And then we'll allow things to move. So the shin's going to move, my front knees, toes, the whole leg bone is moving out towards the left. It doesn't matter how far. And then when I come forward, my left hand reaches back somewhere for the right leg. And then I'm inhaling at the top and then exhaling as I go back. Inhaling at the top. Allow a little buoyancy here. You'll see that I don't have that crowded feeling from shoulder to ear. Everything is bending and moving. We'll do one more here. And then we'll complete our little spiral here by drawing the right shoulder blade down the back and maybe even sort of tilting the bottom tip of your shoulder blade towards the front of your body. And then you can take the arm bone forward. Just by doing that, you're able to open up a little more. This hip is dipping. Right hip dips. Good. Yay. And then from here, come to an upright. And then if we zip in and we scissor the legs as we lift the front leg, we should get a pretty good idea of what's going on there. Harrelson. So Now we're going to take a standing sequence, okay? So set the blocks up high, and you can always knock them down, but it's hard to reach, you know, from a low block setting to an upright. Let's do the left leg first this time. So similar to how we lifted our hand off the floor and we retracted the shoulder blade before lifting the elbow, try to feel the left abdomen draw in towards the center and up, and lift the left hip, and then as you lift the left hip, ground the right shin and try to step forward with the least amount of tremoring as you can. And as we come forward here, I think I'm going to take my blocks on the lower setting just because my arms are long and I can afford to do that. So do what you need to do. And then from here, we're going to take this spiral again. This time, with the spiral, I'm going to ask you, if you choose, we didn't do this on the other side, my bad, but it's okay, no big deal. You can straighten the back leg and see how you can pivot the back leg. And this pivoting is very much dependent on mobility in the hip. I don't have a ton of mobility in the hip on an external rotation, but here I'm internally rotating. So I might have an advantage basically based on the structure I developed. So don't worry if your structure needs to have the knee down. I'm trying to sharpen my foot as much as I can. The next time I go up, I'm going to really press my foot into the floor. I'm going to keep my left toe pointed out a little bit, almost like I were going to do like first position turnout. Take all my weight to the front foot, lift my back leg, take my left hand to my hip, reach my right hand forward, you might even have an object to put it on, and then step back again, bending into both legs and then sweeping the right arm to your right and coming into horse pose. Groovy. You're in horse, so we've found a little symmetry. Good. You're welcome to shake your booty or whatever. And if you need to stand up tall and come into star shape, just do that. Otherwise, we're going to lift, in this case, your right heel, pivot, find a lunge briefly, and then from here, take the back knee down. Find yourself in upright kneel, take the leg back, pause as long as you need to. Sorry, the dogs are just barking at someone entering. And then we'll take the other foot forward, coming here. Again, back knee up is optional. You can do what we did before. And we're just going to take this nice little spiral. I'm really sharpening my back foot because I don't want my ankle to collapse and my knee to sort of get the brunt here. So I really want to be, if I can't be on the whole pinky edge of my foot, then I at least want to be on the pinky toe mount. And we'll do this a few times. And then we'll reach forward. We'll keep the right knee and toe point out a little bit. All the weight comes on the front foot. Do a little lift of the low belly like you're going to come into cat belly. And then lift the back leg. Right hand on hip, left arm forward. And then take the back foot back. Sweep the left arm to the left, and then you'll find yourself in horse again. Good. So you're welcome to use your arms and hands to let the inner thighs open. And then if it's in your body, you can take 1 or 2 or even 3 hops to the. All right. Last part of this sequence is going to have us twisting while we're upright. So we'll start in a little baby chair pose. Step the left leg back. You can always have something in front for support. Right hand on hip, left hand forward. Let your back foot come up quite a bit. And feel free to allow your left knee and left toes to point inward in an internal rotation. Take your left hand to your right shoulder or go for cactus arms. Let your left shoulder and arm roll in as your right arm opens, and maybe it extends, maybe it doesn't. Good. Sweep it to the left. Find horse. Your feet won't be on a straight line, that's fine. And then reach your back forward in a lunge, and then twist. The back hip can drop, that's totally fine. Sweep it to the left again. We'll just do this one more time. And if from here you can swing your right shoulder forward as you take your left leg forward. And then left arm forward, left leg back. And if you can, jump your feet to the middle of your mat or step forward. All right. Right leg back. Remember, your feet can be as wide as they want. They don't have to be on a balance beam. In fact, probably not a great idea if they are. Taking your right arm forward, left hand on your hip. And then eventually we'll start taking that little cactus shape. The right toes can point inward. Just keep a good, strong sense of your pinky toe mound on the floor. You can cactus. Right arm can come in. This front leg can turn out, by the way. I don't know if you saw that on the other side. Sweep to the right. Come to your uneven horse. Notice that I'm turning with bent legs the whole time, and I'm letting everything move in the direction that I'm going. I'm not fixing anything forward or parallel. Feel free to get creative. And then we'll come forward to lunge. You can walk like an Egyptian if you like. Reach your right arm forward, left arm back. Either step forward or jump your feet to the center. That's good. So we'll revisit the deer position to finish the sequence. And what I'm going to do is a little floor vinyasa. Feel free to move slow, move things around, and if you crave a static position, stay there. Feel free to stay there. And then from here, you can probably find that wide-legged bend. Maybe you go a little bit lower. I might visit my max range of motion for like 3 seconds. There. That's all that's really necessary. And then I'll take my feet in, bending the knees a little bit in the back, especially if you have knees that bend the other direction. And then probably a nice little shavasana for like 2 or 3 minutes.